Hello, SpeedGaming. Welcome back to a very exciting, next race in the Link to the Past Randomizer 2026 No Logic Tournament. What we have here today is a round 2 race with Vinter versus Muffins. And Vinter did take the first game, so Muffins is going to have to win this one to bring it to a game 3 or go to the lower bracket. And just really quick, in case anyone's not familiar, this no logic, and that means that anything can literally be anywhere. It can be locked behind itself, and to compensate for that, the runners will be using a lot of major glitches to complete the seed. And so if anyone has any questions at all, please feel free to ask, and I will try to keep up with the chat as best I can. So right away, we have a divergence with Vinter starting at Link's house and Muffins Sanctuary. Vinter doing a fake flipper to get under the bridge. Alright, flute under the bridge. That's very helpful. Like, it's not, like, necessary, but it can save a bunch of time, especially if you get it early. And depending on what other items we get to go with it. Alright, Vinter is setting up a swim clip to get into the ice rod cave without using a bomb. And it is a little bit faster if you get it right away. Muffins into the Lost Woods. So this clip that Vinter's doing is pretty tight on the inputs. It's a little tricky and a little finicky as well, but he gets it. Muffin's getting bombs on a tree pole. I believe that's a tier 1. That's a really good tier 1. The map of Turtle Rock is a very good map as well. Big Heated Desert in the Ice Rod Cave. That is one of the better big keys. Like, we don't need the big keys, but some of them are certainly like really helpful, and that big key can be used in a variety of different dungeons to unlock stuff if we want to. I missed the lumberjack check. Muffins was a little too fast for me, but I think it was nothing. Alright, lumberjack, Death Mountain Ascent on Muffin's side, Vinter, water walking, and fluting. Small key of Dark Palace. Well, we'll see if that gets used. Sometimes they do. Not usually. One of the reasons people prefer this early water route is because you don't get dunked in the waterfall. Because if you get 4 pieces of heart, it will put you in the swimming state and you won't be able to open the next chest. A nice clip over the fence. Small key to desert. Also a good small key because that specific door is good for getting to swamp with glitches. Muffins takes an unfortunate death in Spectacle Rock Cave. It definitely, I mean, if 3 hearts on the mountain, you're kind of at the mercy of RNG, more or less, so there's a slight time loss there. Alright, so just 20 rupees on the island. Vinter did take a look, but it was very fast and I didn't see it. I did it from inside the lake while water walking. The Muffin's going to Sahasrara. Vinter gets the news on the tier 1 bombs. As I was going to say earlier, bombs are really important because we use them for a lot of glitches. I'm not sure if that's optimal picking up all those bushes, just gonna say that. Small key to GT, and unfortunately I missed what the green pendant is. That's... pendants and crystals are like really important information in this mode because sometimes go mode can happen very quickly and doing a boss that's a pendant can be a time sink that costs you the race. If anyone did catch the green pendant, I would appreciate if they could tell me in the chat. Lumberjack going back up sorry, Lumberjack. Pardon me, Muffins showing us both DMAs. Did the Lumberjack the first time, is doing the quote-unquote new DMA to skip the rock to get into the Old Man Rescue Cave. Alright, Vinter drawn to town early because of the flute under the bridge. Usually runners put off going to town until they have something to do here, like turning the bottle or the powder. But the flute definitely draws you towards town, and another thing is that in glitched modes, going to Kakariko kind of like shoehorns you into going to desert afterwards. And if you go to desert without any glitching items, it can lead to you missing some items that other people get. So people do like to put off that play for a while. And we see our first bottle preloaded with a red potion in the Hera basement cage on Muffin's side. So bottles are a very important item. Sometimes they're the only glitching item we have, which is not preferred, but it is a very powerful item. We'll be doing a lot of drinking a potion in the door, also called a YBA, Yuzuhara's Bottle Adventure, to corrupt transitions. It will allow us to travel to places we're not supposed to, and it can also have other effects as well. Alright, big key on Floating Island. I don't think Vinter found anything that great in town yet. The desert map is nice. Like I said, maps are usually really helpful. Swamp Palace was the green pendant. Thank you very much for that. Alright, Swamp has a very divisive dungeon in no logic, especially in Double Rods, which, by the way, this is a Double Rods preset. To try to encourage earlier go moding and to correct the very slim chance of being locked out from beating Trinex. We have 2 ice rods and 2 fire rods in the pool. Swamp, definitely one of the more annoying dungeons in no logic, so very good news, that being the green pendant. Alright, shovel in Paradox Cave, Muffin's side. Small key to Turtle Rock, small key to Hera. Normally the Hera small is one of the better small keys because we use it to unlock Swamp, usually, but Swamp being a pendant, that is going to be far less relevant in this specific seed. The Muffins went for hover and fell, decided to save and quit. Vinter also dying on the mountain, so they're even, 1-for-1 deaths on the mountain. They don't call it Death Mountain for nothing, I'll say that. Alright, Graveyard Ledge Descent on Muffin's side. And Vinter also going for the Graveyard Ledge Descent, but as I said earlier, 3 hearts on the mountain is very stressful, but he gets it as well. Alright, it was just a compass, so those do not do anything for us. Even if we had item counters, the item counters are not trustworthy in glitched modes because we would travel between dungeons and the game gets confused. Alright, Muffins did the Houlihan, and going left out of Link's house to, looks like we're checking the shovel. It's pretty unfortunate that Muffins did not get the flute under the bridge. But Vinter also doing a Houlihan. Alright, Muffins doing a K45 clip. There's a couple different ways to get here. Well, actually, like at least 3, because I don't usually see that one. But it's just 20 rupees. Vinter pulling the dam. This is a really unorthodox approaching Kakariko from the south. Because like I said, usually people do north-south. So they can clip straight down to desert right afterwards. But Muffins is putting off desert, which is... I'm actually not sure why they're putting off desert, because they have a potion which they could use to get extra items out of Thieves Town and blow up the attic. But Vinter has not gone to Hero yet, which is where we know the first bottle is. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize we lost you. So Muffins has a bottle and a shovel. I really don't think Vinter has that many, like, trackable items other than small keys that are of questionable relevance. I mean, sometimes they are, but they also might... They're usually situational. Vinter did a door juke from Mini Moldorm to get to King's Tomb. And it was just rupees, but it is nice to get that extra check. And rupees can be very important in this mode, because we like to buy potions and bombs, sometimes arrows if we are lucky enough to get a bow. Oh, the Moon Pearl was in the well. I missed that the first time. Okay, so both of them have Moon Pearl. And Muffins has bottle and a shovel. Just trying to help Buddha catch up on the tracking here. Had an unfortunate internet failure. Oh, you can't track? Okay, sorry. I'll open the tracking thing and try to put some stuff on there really quick here. Which item I'm trying to get. Muffins doing our first desert play. The second bottle in desert. Very nice to have. With 2 bottles plus Moon Pearl. generally solves most dungeons, depending on the situation. Alright, Muffins is doing our first YBA, Bottle Adventure, to go to Thieves Town from Desert. Vinter doing Paradox. Alright, so this pre-bombing of the attic is extremely nice for routing if Thieves Town is a crystal. It saves a bunch of time having this done. Because commonly we enter Thieves Town from the bottom, like getting in like to the basement from the Uncle Passage. And we get to clip to Desert and do these checks, even though I guess Muffins did not get the small key. Oh, the small key was in the waterfall, that's why. But still gets to check those anyway. And Muffins gets the... Sorry. I'm losing my... Okay, so thank you for that. So there's a glove in Mini Moldorm Cave on Vinter's side, and Fire Rod, they both... Or no, Fire Rod Muffins has from Sick Kid, thank you. Alright, Vinter going into the Dark World. And Muffins is setting up a swim clip for the back of escape. Sorry for the difficulty on our end. It looks like we had an internet issue with one of our trackers, so someone else is taking over. Thank you, Holy Smoke. Sorry, I had to get my screen like resituated. So alright, big key to GT in Hype Cave and the Cane of Burna on Vinter's side. GT big key is our first save state key, unless I missed one of the other ones, but I'm pretty sure it is. So that's significant because it saves time not having to get the one from the Ball and Chain Guard. House of Darkness and Turtle Rock are red crystals, so Fire Rod and Ice Rod hard required for this seed. But Vinter doing a funny auto walk thing to skip the hammer pegs. Alright, now doing a swim clip to check the Pyramid Fairy. Alright, Muffins doing Mini Moldorm Cave. A big key to Eastern and Pyramid Fairy. Okay, so the glove was on the mini Moldarm Cave NPC. I missed that the first time, so both of them have that. And Muffin's also doing the bomb juke to King's Tomb. The gloves are not required, but they're a really nice convenience item, especially because Vinter hasn't done desert, so he's not going to be orphaning Checkerboard Cave. Alright, Vinter gets the bottle in the basement cage of Hera. Alright, Muffin's going to check the waterfall, but having a little trouble, with this Zora making it a perilous journey. It has the moon pearl, so it doesn't need to set up the water walk beforehand. That desert small may still be useful, even though Muffin's already got the items behind that door. Well, I don't know, Swamp being a pendant, maybe not. But we could go to Swamp and check items that way. Yeah, Vinter going to desert. Or it looks like we're going to pick up the blue mail first. It's a little bit of a weird... Oh, never mind, we're not. Just kidding. Alright, going to desert. That dash turn usually indicates they're trying to get the item, but... Because we don't normally, like, teleport sideways when we're boots clipping. Anyways. Alright, just a piece of heart in the big chest of desert. I believe that was an ice rod cave, and Muffins, I think, didn't do that. And Muffins gets the news about TR. So that being a crystal. We need an ice rod, but we don't even have a sword yet, so we can't even be thinking about go mode yet. We just got to check a bunch of stuff and hope we get lucky. Vinter also doing the YBA to Thieves Town from Desert. Okay, Super Bunny Cave. On Muffin's side. Piece of heart. And a heart container, so... nothing major, but... moving on. So I'd imagine Muffins is going for Hookshot Cave, being, you know, a hoverer. And you could also take this Hookshot Cave place somewhere else, but we'll just see what they do. So Vinter gets the items on the right side of Desert, clipping down, and takes a save and quit. Alright, Vinter. Going to the potion shop. It's a green and a red. And so for those who are not familiar, the color of the potion does matter when we're doing glitches. I have a case-by-case basis, but... we're doing a YBA in the underworld. A red potion can substitute for either, but may have side effects. Green is for sub-tile doors, and blue is for super tile doors. Muffins is setting up a super tile YBA right here, and not having any bombs goes for the buffer method. I'm a huge fan of this as a backup. Like, I don't think I've seen anyone do this in recent years. Okay, needed to take damage, because even if you're doing a glitch, you cannot consume a potion if you are full on whatever that potion restores. Alright, gets it. Very nice. I'm a huge fan of this backup. Like, people should know this, because you're gonna run out of bombs at some point in your no-logic career. It's just a given. 600 rupees behind where Ice Armos normally is, but we used the YBA to despawn sprites as well as travel to GT. Alright, Muffins setting up another YBA to Thieves Town, using a bomb to, basically, the amount of time it takes for the bomb to explode is normalized, so we know how far in the door we are, and by buffering it like that, he knows that he's on YBA, and he gets it. Very nice. But now we're in Thieves Town, but being a little careful. Is it here? Alright, heart piece in Bob and or Mike's chest, depending on what you prefer. As a Muffin's hovering back over. Big key on the torch, yet we cannot get it without resetting the dungeon. It's kind of a little quirk with the sprite desync to get that little preview. Kind of curious what Muffins will do with this play. It would have been slightly more ideal to have 2 red potions, because he could have used a second to check Rando Room. But we're setting up a bomb juke, and if successful... Yeah, I don't know how Muffins is going to pull us off with no sprites and no sword to, like, track how far in the door he is, but maybe he'll surprise me with something cool. Meanwhile, Vinter fighting blind with a King of Burna and not half magic. Okay, so we're using a fire rod shot to track how many pixels we move. Okay, this is clever, I like it. Difficult, unfortunately doesn't get it, damn. That would have been really cool if Muffins pulled that off, but I really like the ingenuity there, because normally for that bomb juke, the easiest way is to just hold your sword out so you can see where in the door you are. Or, barring that, you can use a sprite in the room if you didn't despawn them. Alright, so Vinter did take down blind, but since we are in cave state, meaning we entered not through the front door, we entered from the Uncle Passage. Has to leave and reset the dungeon, so this tells the game that we actually are in Thieves Town when we re-enter from the front door. It's setting our dungeon ID, and that allows us to get the prize of the dungeon, and looks like we don't know if this is a pendant or a crystal. Muffins is stocking up on some bombs here. Looks like we're getting a Hype Cave or South Dark World play from Muffins. Teleporting to skip the hammer pegs, using a glove to use the portal. But we have to bomb clip out of here. That was a very fast bomb placement. I wonder if they just know the pixel that... Oh, they were bombing to remove the grass. Never mind. Alright, Inventor gets some unfortunate news that Thieves Town is a pendant, but it is at least knowledge. Alright, so Muffins gets the bomb clip. About to get their GT big key after leaving GT, which, although they were in cave state, so that wasn't extremely relevant. Although it is a cave state big key as well. Vinter gets Quake in Sea House. Oh, sorry, I missed it. So Hookshot Cave had TT Big Key. Okay, so that was already they already had a Cave State Big Key. My mistake. Like the vanilla red boomerang. You love to see it. And Vinter, using a mechanic called Fake Worlds that's patched out of normal rando. Because we never did a world transition through a portal, Vinter was in Fake Dark World, which transitions into Real Light World, which is how he was able to check Sick Kid so quickly after leaving Village of Outcasts, and gets his Fire Rod. And Muffins gets an Ice Rod on Stumpy, it looks like. Alright, so that's a Trine X partially solved, at least. Having both rods. Still no sight of a sword in this, though, which is definitely not fun. Alright, teleporting to the Mire area. On Muffin's side. Vinter on Death Mountain. With the Hera clip. I wonder where he's going. I think that was Ether for Mire. Swamp map. Useless to us. Okay. So Vinter is going to Palace of Darkness via Spectacle Rock Cave, as you do in glitch modes. That bomb clip called Kiki Skip will allow us to enter from the cave like you just saw. And this underworld map wrap will also despawn the sprites, so that's very nice. And nobody to bother us, we can just loot everything. Alright, Muffins is digging. And Muffin's trying to go to Village of Outcasts, it looks like. Unfortunately, hops down. Okay, Bombos in Pod. Alright, Muffins gets the red boomerang as well. I've entered farming the pod rupees. This is like a really good reason to go here, not just because pod is good item density, but like potions and bombs are expensive, so this is a really good place to get 200 something rupees. Oh, the hook shot on the bridge in the arena in pod. That could potentially be a very important item, depending on if we get the lamp or some other items to go with it. Alright, the Muffin's going in Thieves Town from the front door, and having the big key, this makes sense. This is actually faster than doing what Vinter did. And Muffin's also pre-bombed the attic as well, so... Oh. Aside from not having a sword, like, we're saving as much time as we can here on Muffin's side. That's obviously not their fault they don't have a sword, but... Anyway, so Vinter going on the right side of pod. Blue boomerang as well. The boomerangs are relevant for glitching, in some cases, and I'll discuss that more if it comes up. They both have somewhat unique roles, with a little bit of overlap. The Vinter back on the mountain does a hair clip into the Dark World portal. Okay, and remembering that he has the Moon Pearl, goes to Hookshot Cave this way. Alright, Muffins going to the basement of Thieves Town, and Vinter gets the Thieves Town big key in Hookshot Cave. And the small. After already clearing the dungeon, of course. So this is going to be even, like, on time, because they'll both waste time doing this pendant. Although, as I said, Muffins route was a little bit faster because it just worked out that way. But it's still a pretty similar time investment. So, really curious what the next play for these runners is going to be. Vinter leaving Super Bunny Cave. Has a lot of options. Could do GT like we saw from Muffins. Could go into TR. Alright, and so this is a GT play from Vinter, but using the subtile transition for YBA instead, so this will not despawn the sprites. So we might get to see what that big key on the torch is, I would assume. But unfortunately that means you do have to fight the Armos Knights, and this is much more difficult than a regular Armos fight because the physics are not appropriate. Actually, a little worried about this situation. This is... Oh, no. Alright, so we'll check back with Vinter in like 5 minutes. So meanwhile, Muffins is going to Skullwoods. Or not Skullwoods direct, we're checking Bumper Ledge first. Just 10 arrows, so we're gonna leave it. Full on arrows and don't even have a bow. Alright, I may have exaggerated with 5 minutes, but that's certainly not ideal for Vinter. So Vinter gets the 600 that we saw earlier on Muffin's side. Map of Thieves Town in the Skullwoods big chest after we just got the pendant. This game. Alright, 10 arrows in the pot prison chest in Skullwoods. Uncle Bombs in the next check. Alright, does Vinter have a red potion? I'm guessing not, because we're not glitching the door. Alright, so we didn't see what this was on Muffin's side. IKEA pod, okay, so... Probably not relevant. Sometimes it's good to have the pod big key, but not for use in pod. It's very situational, so probably not relevant. The Muffins... Thinking? Alright, Vinter also going for the bomb juke. It has sprites, so this is easier to judge. Use it based on enemy movement, you can use that to kind of tell how far you've moved in the door. It's still not easy, though. It's not ideal. Alright, I think he got it. Yep. Okay. Alright, so Vinter's in the spike skip room, or which normally we hook shot across, and now in DM's room. We get a bunch of invisible items. Malkia Castle Tower. Alright, Muffins saves and quits out of Skullwoods, and back on the mountain. Oh wow, I missed that Muffins didn't do that chest earlier. It just came in and got the basement cage and left. That's interesting. Meanwhile, Vinter back at the potion shop and now doing a clip to head down to Eastern. Oh, there was a bow in GT that we couldn't see because it was invisible. So that's a very nice item. And with EP Big Key in hand, Vinter is making a play for Eastern. Muffins is going back to GT. Yeah, we haven't really acquired any new items to help us glitch the dungeon, but can go for the bomb juke again, which will reward him with a bow, we know now. And Muffin's also using the enemy movement to track his own movement, and gets it very quickly that time. But not having the hook shot from Pod, Muffins is hovering across the gap, even though it may be difficult to tell. Vinter continuing Eastern. Don't think he found anything important at the moment. Then Muffin's back on the mountain. Oh, flippers were in Skullwoods, so sorry I missed that. That's unfortunately irrelevant unless we want to look for items in Swamp. I mean, you could use flippers plus Pearl to get into Ice Palace as well if you didn't, like, want to use a YBA or something like that. That is one use that they have. Alright, Vinter in the back of Eastern, double readies, both nicely done. Alright, Muffins in Pod. Getting the other Ice Rod. About to get Hookshot as well. And Bombos. I don't think there was anything too important other than that here. Alright, a third bottle on Armos Knights and a crystal. Well, that's our first crystal of the race at 43 minutes on Vinter's side, so definitely a slow start. Not having a sword makes it pretty challenging, and not having a hammer either, or like regular damage. Alright, Vinter back in So it looks like this is going to be, I would guess, a Meyer play. And we're abandoning the big key chest, which I suppose that's fine. Oh, there was a sword in... Vinter did not do the big chest in pod? What? Oh, goodness. Alright, well that's... I don't know. I mean, I guess that has to be a mistake on his part. I don't know why. I don't know why you wouldn't go to pod and not get all the items out. That's huge for Muffins. That sword is, like, not that difficult to dupe either. It's a little bit annoying if you don't have the mirror. I'm not sure if about all the transitions if you do a YBA for that. But, if that's the only sword we see, that's a massive advantage for Muffins. But I'm sure Muffins knows how to dupe that. Although it will be a bit annoying to dupe it if they do decide to, because they opened one of the chests already that it would basically just take longer. You would have to carry the chest closed flag like farther. Yeah, the sword slash is, in my mind, that's definitely some kind of communication that they, you know, think they made a mistake in opening that first. Muffins resetting the dungeon as well, so we may see a play for Helmasaur here. Meanwhile, Vinter was successful YBing into Meyer. The unfortunate thing about Eastern Meyer is unless you set it up in like a certain way, you're limited on keys, which makes it slow, and Meyer's already not a very dense dungeon. And also, a route to the boss with potions also requires having a small key, so that's an additional constraint. Muffins is arming Statue Drag, which is an elaborate door juke to reach the boss. Yeah, Vinter definitely had a cave key when he went to pod. He did hype cave early, and that had the GT big key. The Muffins was successful with the statue drag and gets into Helmasaur's room. The reason why this works is because the statue pulling animation bypasses the transition on the entrance door, which is an unusual thing. Alright, Helmasaur getting a little squirrely, but still a nice fight from Muffins. Alright, Vinter getting all the items out of Meyer so far, it looks like. And it was a crystal in pod, so tied up at 1-1 for our runners. So this Meyer big key chest is a very interesting check in no logic, because it's really slow, so it's good to justify skipping it, but sometimes people overworld conveyor to Meyer, which means they get to do that check for free, so that's a reason you might want to check it. But just 300 rupees, so... Okay, Muffin's doing the right side pod hover. This is a very big time save. Gets the boomerang. Well, maybe I'm exaggerating, but like those rooms feel bad to run through. And Muffins did get it first try. That was a really nice hover. Alright, back on the... Alright, Vinter setting up for Hera, it looks like. This is a nice bomb clip. That one's, like, very easy to set up. That's usually, like, the first Underworld clip people learn, or one of the first ones, because it is, like, super free if you move the wall. Small key to swamp in the Hera big chest is kind of amusing. We see a book as well in the compass. Alright, Muffins also in Hera, and it has the map, so we know this is a crystal. That's interesting. Going back for the magic. I can't say I blame him. As a Muffin opening, or not Muffins, pardon me, Vinter opening the door, that could be significant in the seed. We use that door to delete another door often in seeds, and since I believe the Meyer medallion was ether, that could be relevant. And Muffins apparently knows Meyer's a crystal as well. Oh, we do know all the pendants, right. Okay, yeah. Swamp, DP, and TT. Okay. Alright. So, aside from not having Master Sword, it looks like Meyer is probably the most obnoxious dungeon on the menu here. Like, Muffin's not having the EP big key, we'll have to unlock it from Cave State, or think of something else. So that's a little bit slow and annoying, but not super difficult or anything. Mitts in Swamp, that's kind of funny. It's kind of a cliche in like a regular open mode. Alright, Vinter making a Skullwoods play, and Muffins going to the back of Swamp. So I guess Muffins is proving me wrong, trying to make the flippers relevant. Which makes sense. I mean, that they know that it was in a place that they might have gotten to them first, so they're like leveraging it to check items. But in Hera State though, so don't trust that C marker on the top. Unfortunately, not really finding anything. I mean, I guess one ice small is nice for routing, but certainly nothing we can't live without. There was a recent showcase race of doing a swordless moth fight by using a potion to bypass the requirement. I wonder if either of our runners knows that. And Muffins already bailed on Skullwoods after getting what they could out of the front and the middle here. But we'll see what Vinter does. Gets the flippers, also saves and quits. Alright. I can't say I blame them. Fighting Moth with a fire rod is... it's not a fun thing. You know, we see our second fire rod on Muffin's side, so all 4 rods found. It's not... it's certainly not a given. Alright, Muffins leaving out the front of Swamp. You know, again, I'm seeing the fake world mechanic here. They were never actually in the Dark World. And goes to the potion shop, and Muffins never went under the bridge, which is funny, because that was Vinter's, like, second item was the flute, and Muffins doesn't have it. So, if this seed drags on, and, like, they have to do more and more YBAs, which is looking like to be the case, the Vinter is going to be saving time on, like, every potion shop trip, which could add up to be significant. Alright, checkerboard. I don't think we've seen this, but it's just a small key. Alright, Muffins is going under the bridge. Alright, we're getting the flute. They orphaned this and Ice Rod Cave, but they did the stuff that was like all around it. But going back for it now. I don't think we've seen Agina either, just the single arrow, unfortunately. Because if I remember right, Muffins did save and quit out of Desert without checking that. Alright, so this was a DP big key, if I recall correctly, on Muffin's side. Yep. Hit bonking to returning to a swimming state, unfortunately. But uses the pit state to go back to walking. Alright, Castle Tower on Vinter's side. Using a nice little north moat clip. This is some desperation, and normally runners like to try to avoid doing the castle stuff. And it gets a mushroom. Oh, mushroom is a very interesting item in the logic. I kind of wish it wasn't, because it's like, oh, the mushroom can be turned in to get a random item, but however, it can also be used to set up misslotting glitches. The King of Samaria in Castle Tower 2, what a play, wow. Anyways, I was saying about these misslotting glitches, you can get a one-time use index to set up like a hook push or overworld conveyor by using the mushroom in combination with other items. And it's like having the flute, it's as convenient as it can be, but it's still not convenient though. Alright, stocking up on potions, but not turning in the mushroom, so it's in the back of Vinter's mind, I think, maybe, that if he has to, he can use the mushroom to set up a hook push. But investing in potions and going back to the mountain. I would probably like to see a laser bridge play, because it's a really quick, 4-item cave if you have the Moon Pearl, which they do. And Muffins doing ice. Unfortunately doesn't have the hammer, but, some seeds that's just not gonna happen. The red mail in the right side. The Vinter doing a bomb clip. And Vinter is thinking laser bridge. Oh, Muffins checking the big chest of Ice Palace, big key to TR, as Vinter does the mirrorless screen wrap to laser bridge. Alright, 50 rupees. Meyer small. And just a reminder, we can't use Meyer keys without the medallion, and Vinter already went to Meyer. And a compass, so, well, That, unfortunately, was not helpful, but Vinter, it looks like, is going to try to beat the boss anyway. Alright, so... Okay, never mind, we're just kidding. We're looking for items. It's probably a good decision to not fight the boss. I mean, because it would take 2 potions to get there if they're doing a YBA, and... Just... Oh wait, no, you can't fight Trinix. I'm sorry, you need a hammer or a sword for phase 3. Someone was confusing me in chat earlier. I'm gonna blame them. I don't know, you would just assume after 1 hour, you know, you would get a sword. And speaking of sword, we're getting a spin YBA on Muffins' side, which requires a sword. It looks like, okay, yep, successful. Tam slam to bonk into the hole, and bombos to make it easier. Vinter... Okay, this is setting up a door delete for the try next door. This requires a North Samaria, and Vinter smartly transitions to the left before doing this, because otherwise you have to walk from the bottom and go around some Samaria pits, which we can't see. Unfortunately fails the YBA, though. But that's a very minimal time loss. That's not that important. They might even find the big key as well before they go back. Alright, Harapot on Vinter's side. And Muffins successfully takes down Cold Stare and gets the ice crystal meanwhile. Alright, and Vinter's going to Swamp as well. So, I don't think anything of, like, true value was found here. The mitts are nice. They're a really good convenience item, especially with Pearl plus Flute, but that's really all it is a convenience. It doesn't really help them do anything they couldn't do already. Okay, Muffin's back in Skullwoods with a sword this time, so... going to be able to go to the boss the regular, old-fashioned way. Definitely have to ask Vinter why he didn't do the pod big chest. Which I would assume that means that he skipped the maze as well. Because this not having a sword... it's just a huge advantage for Muffins, having that sword. Despite the very low odds of, you know, not being able to find a sword or not being able to find more than one sword in a seed, it happens quite a bit in No Logic for whatever reason. So if that is the only sword we see, Muffins is gonna dupe that sword for Ganon. A nice Mothula fight with bad equipment on Muffin's side. It gets another crystal. A Vinter in the back of Swamp. Yeah, so if Vinter goes to Ice, which I don't think he's gonna do because the glitch Muffins did to get to the boss requires a sword. But I don't know, I was just thinking the TR Big Key was in Ice, so that will, you know, solve his problem for Trinex, because he was trying to delete the door. Oh, a second sword in the back of Skullwood, so they could have had that so long ago. Like, both of them had the fire rod when they went here. It is quite a slow check, though. It is understandable that they would skip it. I don't know what I would do in that situation, personally. It probably would depend on the day, or, like, what else I had done in the seed, but that's pretty unfortunate for Vinter, dodging both of those swords. But North Samaria allows us to check the TR Big Key chest, and it's the hammer, which is interesting. Because that will allow Vinter to start killing some of these bosses. And not having the mirror, we need to take a death warp. But he decides to steal the small key first. Oh, and very good timing. Gets the key and dies at the same time. Alright, so with Hammer, Vinter doesn't need any glitches for Ice Palace. I think that's where he's heading. Meanwhile, Muffins, a Dark Death Mountain, doing the loop around here. Also setting up a mirrorless wrap. Alright, bomb resupply for Vinter. So Vinter's gonna be able to get 2 items that we didn't see on Muffin's side, because Muffins didn't have Hammer or Samaria, so it, could be interesting. So Vinter's setting up a bomb clip. Just to save a little bit of time, if you're not checking the penguins anyway. Well, I wonder if he will check it, or it might be faster to check it afterwards at this point, to come back in after the boss. But Muffins gets a lot of nothing on Laser Bridge. Alright, Muffins has the big key, so I'm guessing this is a hover attempt. The Muffins did, like, really quickly first try the pod hover, but this is an extremely far hover, so we'll have to see how he does. Blue Mail and Ice Palace for Vinter. How original. The Muffins is doing it. We're like halfway there. But this is insane. I can't believe how good people are at this trick. Oh no! With like 75-80% there and fails it. That's the worst, because, like, they're probably already starting to feel a little bit of, like, the fatigue. Alright, and I just want to point out, if we had entered at the same time, I would have double YBA to Trinex by now. Well, so this is not even faster, but it's what they want to do, so let's root for them. Right now we're trying to sort out hover. So the reason why you would want to do this for people that aren't familiar, because of Link's like alternating movement pattern, sort out allows you to hover with like less inputs if you're specifically if you're going north or west. But decides to give up on it because that's very unergonomic to do that, at least if you're on like any kind of standard like controller mapping. Like the sword button is right next to the dash button. It doesn't really make sense, but some people are good at it though. Alright, Vinter takes down Cold Stare. And Muffins, I guess, is just gonna do this until they run out of hearts. And that is a good point in chat about the magic consumption with Master Sword on Trinex. Yeah, if you don't do the backdoor strat, it is exact magic with Master Sword. Alright, Vinter unfortunately not on the correct spot to do the GT clip. Alright, Muffins unfortunately not successful in getting TR done. Decides to save and quit. Alright, Vinter, going back to GT, so we've seen parts of GT, but we haven't seen... Unfortunately in the wrong spot again, or getting a bad input, one of the two. Anyways, like, this play makes sense having Hammer and Samaria. There's about 11 checks in the basement we haven't seen. Alright, Muffin's back in TR, this time doing the YBA method. Alright, Vinter gets the GT clip this time. Alright, Muffin's successful with the first YBA. Oh yeah, there is a hit that we're dodging. That bridge that you see is not actually, like, the correct collision. The camera is wrong. Alright, so this second YBA... Kind of saw a preview of what it looks like if you fail on Vinter's side, unfortunately. Maybe Muffins is not sure about the pixel for this, just being really careful. That looked successful. It just needs to fall in a hole now. And when we do this, and when we walk up, we get to Trinex. And Vinter finds a sword in the Fire Snake room in GT. And I don't... Is setting up a dupe here. Not sure if this is a subtile or super tile. I'm curious if that worked. I've never seen anyone do this before. Usually because... I don't know, GT is kind of all over the place if you look at the map. So it's kind of, depending on like what chests are open and which ones are closed, it's usually pretty hard to do stuff that's not like the Hope Room super tile, but we'll see if this was successful. I don't have my EG map open at the moment. Okay, the Muffins, unfortunately, they're running out of magic there. The Master Sword Trinex fight is actually an extremely difficult fight if you're not, like, super practiced at it. It would be much easier on Vinter's side because Vinter could Samaria refill during the fight if he knows how. Especially having Bow, there's a really good setup for the Samaria refill. But then again, I suppose with the potions, you know, it wouldn't be a magic issue if Muffins had Samaria, but it is kind of an interesting thing. Okay, so looks like Vinter's dupe didn't work. So I'm guessing that was a subtile transition, which would be the reason why. Alright, Muffins doing the double IBA again, gets the first one. A little curious, but this is... I just want to emphasize again, this is really difficult what Muffins is doing. Like, not just the YBA. I mean, like, the fight itself is the hard part here, actually. But they do get the YBA successfully, which is very nice. I understand, like, if there are other options here. Eastern is slow but doable. Just have to unlock the door first. Meyer is really terrible without the medallion, but it is something else they could start working on instead of this. Vinter into the left, or pardon me, right side of GT. It's another bottle. Okay, Muffins unfortunately ran out of magic again. This is really heartbreaking. Wonder if they'll try to do something else. Meanwhile, Vinter with 4 bottles now. It can, in-sync hair eclipse and exits. Vinter fluting after he went to the top of the mountain to make it more work for the bird, I guess. Hey, Muffins is going back to TR. This is a really interesting decision. Maybe it's like a point of pride at this point. Or they may decide to look for items, because we know the hammer actually is in TR, it's just not conveniently located. Nope, potion out, we're doing it again. Oh yeah, Muffins can't look for items without Samaria. My mistake, sorry. Or I mean, they would have to enter in a different door. And accidentally transitioning. This feels really bad without the mirror. Alright, Vinter and Skullwoods. Wonder if that was a quick swap mistake. You're drinking the potion there. I didn't see how much health they had when they started. Having the hammer, this is a much better fight than what Muffins did. It's still Moth though, so it's annoying regardless. Okay, that was nice though. Quick fight from Vinter. Muffins doing the hard reset to keep the potion, I think. And yeah, Vinter checking under the bridge. This will be his Master Sword. And presumably Go mode. Alright, Muffins is finally deciding to pivot. Though this is a Cave State Eastern play to unlock the door. Using a glitch called Stairmaster. So the potion prevents us from transitioning up the stairs, but it allows us to kind of clip through, like, kind of the opposite side of where the stairs go, as you can see. I've heard this referred to as like a diagonal stairs as well. Right, Harapot for Vinter. Alright, so Muffins, having unlocked the door, is going to go from Link's house, which is actually faster than walking out and back into the dungeon. And meanwhile, Vinter gets a crystal from Moldorm, so this is going to be his 4th crystal? Yeah. Still needs to do Pod, Meyer, and TR, and of those, Meyer definitely is going to be the most work, because we haven't seen Ether at all on either side. Oh, Vinter getting the news about Ether. The map of Swamp, not helpful. Alright, so maybe Vinter is not quite ready to commit to Go mode, or just wants to do a couple, like, quick checks. You know, 2 items in 1 room is, you know, a decent, you know, time investment. Alright, pod play from Vinter as Muffins goes to the back of Eastern. Oh wow, Muffins going... Oh, unfortunately doesn't get it, but Muffins was going for like an extremely like optimal Armos fight. We don't usually see the one bow shot fire down in Rando. And the third bottle, which it will help them definitely. Alright, Vinter about to get the bad news that he could have had this sword like an hour ago. And slashing and frustration. Oh, if you're Vinter at this point and like you abandoned that check and are just now getting it, you have to wonder at this point why your opponent is not done. And these no logic seeds are kind of crazy. You can get in your head with like the metagame. Oh, Dark Maze with boots is fine. It's annoying, but it's fine. I mean, I don't know. I'm just surprised that I'm not used to seeing people skip that. Alright, Vinter setting up statue drag. We saw this earlier on Muffin's side, but this is typically how you go to Helmasaur King in no logic. Using a stored statue pulling animation to trick the game, allowing us to juke the front door. Alright. Double YBA again. Oh, no. Yeah, I don't think that's okay if you fall. I actually never seen anyone try to do this again. I don't know what's gonna happen here. Alright, well, they decided to hard reset anyway, which was probably good. I can't explain it, Malmo, but if people would like, I would be happy to showcase doing the Dark Maze with no items. Just sometime. I personally don't think it's a big deal. Like, it is annoying, but it's not, like, unmanageable. The Vinter gets crystal. Alright, save and quit for Vinter. What is the play here? Looting. Alright, double IBA again on Muffins' side. Unfortunately, again, cuts back left too soon. So I don't know if Muffins, if you watch this back, or just anyone that is trying to do this, when you walk to the right, when you're like navigating this blindly, you can walk all the way down until you hit the wall before you go left. So you don't have to like do like a C motion like right away. You can walk right and then walk down, and the wall will stop you, and then you can kind of find the door that way if you're having trouble like figuring out. Another thing that maybe is not helping is the back canceling the dash. Okay, he gets it that time. When you dash down and cancel up, it also moves the camera, which kind of throws it off a little bit. Oh, he was successful this time. He gets both YVAs. And Vinter also into TR. Gonna have a much easier time here. The Samaria big key, tempered sword. Alright, Vinter taking down Trinex very easily with Tempered, and Muffins onto the last phase here. Just doing a little dance. It has red mail, so it can take a hit, but it doesn't take any hits there. Successfully defeats the boss. Alright, so both are down to just needing Meyer, which is kind of an ordeal. Well, and Agatu, which I wonder if that's where Vinter's going right now. Oh, we're looking for items. Vinter not happy with the loadout, going to continue looking around. But did Muffins not grab the Eastern Crystal when he did the boss fight? Did anyone catch that? Some people might like want to save it for Vitreous, so I wasn't sure. Alright, nice potion shop with DMD. Not sure if Muffins ever activated the flute. I'm guessing not. Alright, so Vinter looks to be setting up a South Samaria, and this will delete the door in the throne room. It's a door we use to change our dungeon ID, which is elaborate and complicated and annoying, but this is the way we do the Maya Crystal without the medallion. I'm having a little trouble with the setup. Muffins back in pod. I wonder what the play here is. Does anyone know if Vinter is on Super NT or like what kind of like hardware or whatever they're using? Because this trick, you can make this a million times easier with select buffering, but will VRAM the game if you're coming in from Hera like he did. Okay, that was successful, I think. South Samaria is a little more uncooperative than East Samaria, because the way the block like repositions, you have to do like 2 dash buffers in one throw. You can't buffer pick up the block, throw, and buffer again with south, like you can with east. Okay, Muffins, Cave State, Hera right now. Oh, they're unlocking the door. Okay, they're setting up their delete because they never got the Hera big key. Okay, so this makes sense. I forgot they didn't have the big key. But neither has gone after, like, Vitreous itself yet, though, so... I think this is a little premature on Vinter's side. Like, like, veteran no-logic players have all seen the Meyer Medallion beyond Vitreous before. It's pretty unlikely, but it does happen. Oh, Vinter's on emulator. Okay, I didn't know that. But yeah, then there's no fear of VRAMing if you're on emulator. But he did eventually get it, so that's fine. Alright, so Vinter is deciding to do the ID swap, like to get the crystal before beating the boss. And so what's going on here is by entering from pod first and taking a warp to Hera, and then we're clipping into this room. You can't see, but this is part of Escape. This is like the first room after the throne, which they've deleted the door. So when they exit and then re-enter, this door changes the dungeon ID to like whatever is paired with the dungeon, and pod is paired with Meyer. So right now the game actually thinks Vinter is in Meyer. So once this has happened, all Vinter has to do is navigate to a boss super tile, and then where the boss is defeated as well, and you can collect the crystal. And with we're going to use one of our 6 pod keys to open the dark cross door, and then we're going to YBA back to Hera from the key rat room. The Muffins reset. I don't know if they... I think maybe their delete was not successful, so Muffins doesn't have Samaria, so has to do a double YBA to do this. And Vinter's setting up the YBA back to Hera right now. Alright, it's successful on Vinter's side, just has to go back to the top and get the crystal. Muffins did the first YBA. Now we need to back out within a certain range of pixels here, and that looks good. And then we do the second YBA, which was also successful. So the door is now deleted for Muffins as well. Very nice. Alright, so Muffins is restocking on potions. Okay, Vinter is doing what's called ledge pog by the community, and what he's doing is item dashing with the red boomerang and jumping off the ledge there, and then switching to the mushroom midair causes the game to fake powder. And so powdering in general sets your index, like kind of like the way the lamp would, and this index manipulation is needed for hook pushing and overworld conveyor, any misslotting glitch. So the way the powder works is different than the lamp. It starts at a high value and then decrements very quickly down to 6. So by interrupting the fake powder with a screen transition, it gives Vinter a high index of 10 or higher, which is what we generally want for setting up a hook push. And Vinter has that stored value, and he's taking it to this room where he's going to set up a hook push to hopefully get into the back, or the bottom of Meyer, rather. He only has one shot to get this right, though, not having the lamp. He has to go back and set it up all over again. Okay, so the first part was successful. Okay, sticking the hook. This is a stuck push, a specific kind of hook push. Alright, using the boomerang gives us a distance, like or a value that allows us to travel a far distance, north or south. But setting the bombs on the bottom layer allows us to change the direction to south. Alright, and then overloading with a bunch of things on the screen allows us to release that stored hook. And now we're in Meyer. But we're in Hyrule Castle state, though, which is why he had to get the crystal through all that elaborate show that you saw before. Unfortunately, does not have the Hyrule Castle big key, though, so... Oh, no, no. Alright, so Vinter did not have to leave, so doing one hook push like that will change the index to 9, and you can still set up another stuck hook with an index of 9. With the equipment he has, I mean, it's not obvious to people like that, you know, haven't played a lot of No Logic, or like myself, I learned that from doing like vanilla glitch speedruns, but it was possible to set up another stuck hook to skip the big key door. But Vinter's gonna set it up again, and going for the big key, I assume, this time. Alright, so Muffins is working on his Meyer crystal. Warping from Pod into Hera, about to clip down to the castle. Alright, Vinter getting the castle big key. And the Meyer big key in the Zelda's... the chest in Zelda's cell. Meanwhile, Muffins swap the dungeon ID to Meyer, making his way through Dark Cross. Gets 50 rupees. It's kind of funny that people check that this late. I mean, there are like a lot of items that would help Muffins speed up his endgame, but that's just one of the reasons I kind of advocate checking that deck like earlier, because if the seed rolls out this way, like with Medallionless Meyer, and you have no like good hook pushing, or no hook pushing at all in Muffin's case, the chances are you're going to go through that room anyway. Alright, so Vinter gets the hook push again. And Muffin successfully YBA'd back to Hera. Alright, Vinter into the Vitreous fight. Alright, Muffins, I think, going to buy more potions. Vinter into the Dark World. Wonder what the plan here is. Not having any magic. Could get the Super Bunny refill or drink a potion if he has any. Alright, so clipping into the middle of TR. This is setting up a lava dive. This is one of the most... Wow. Okay, we're just kidding. We're checking the big chest first. I'm gonna assume he has potions, because otherwise this doesn't make sense going again with no magic. But anyway, so that's Samaria glitch. I guess maybe he doesn't. Not sure. Or maybe he just needed enough to set the block and he's saving his potion. Anyway, so this North Samaria will allow us to get into the lava. And for whatever reason, the lava in Turtle Rock warps to Agatu. Just have to correct the camera with this style of lava dive. Alright, so Muffins going for an Eastern Vidi. Not having a way to do the hook push with no like indexing items. And also, unfortunately doesn't have the Eastern Big, which I guess doesn't matter if you don't have Samaria, never mind. Alright, Agatu down for Vinter. Just deciding to wait out the cutscene. Alright, the Muffins stealing a small key. I wonder if they got the Igor key earlier, because they unlocked it in cave state, so they might... Well, either way, there's a small key over here. Alright, Vinter into the Ganon fight. Alright, nice hook strats. I did have a green potion. Alright, Muffins is into Meyer from Eastern, and Vinter successfully gets Torch Glitch, so just needs to do 12 spins in Phase 4 Ganon. The Muffins, I don't think has been here before, so I don't think the key steal was strictly necessary, but maybe they are looking for items as well, which would make the key steal, more convenient, but... Alright, Vinter has successfully taken down Ganon. Will be the winner of today's race. Please get our GGs in chat for Vinter. Gonna be the winner with an official time of 1:48:45. Alright, so Muffins is doing 2 YBAs to get to Vitreous. This is kind of like the more standard, approach. Just because, you're pretty much always going to have bottles in a seed. Not guaranteed to get, hook pushing or, Samaria plus big key. This is a spin YBA. And Muffins has DNF'd, but is continuing to play the seed, so maybe they just want to finish it out. They're somehow typing in the race time while fighting Vitreous. Very impressive. And of course, in case you missed it, Ether on Vitreous. I missed it. Sorry for that. Well, that's kind of funny. I was predicting that, but I didn't actually expect it to happen. Well, let's get our GGs for Muffins as well. And we're joined by the racers, so congratulations to Vinter and GG Muffins.
GG's Vinter.
GG's, thank you. Man, it's so insane. Yeah, I did the sword and pod, which was probably your first, I suppose.
Yeah, that was my first.
Oh my god, dude.
No,
That was my tempered.
No, I was like, at that point I had 2 bottles, I had both rods, and that was my first sword, but I'd already opened all the chests, and I was like, okay, well that is technically go mode if I like come back twice to reclose all the chests with YBAs.
Oh yeah, right, you can do that, true.
Yeah, but I was like, I don't want to do that, so I went to do other things, and then I eventually found my second sword. My master sword was in Skullwood's back. And then I was... Yeah, then I was like, I'm going to go do Trinex because I didn't have a good way to do Eastern other than Stairmaster, and I got Laser Bridge to check. So I go there and I'm like, okay, I hovered, like after the stream last time, I hovered the Trinex gap, so I'll do it this time, and I got like 95% of the way and dropped. I spent a few minutes trying, got a second way close and dropped. And then nobody should ever look at what happened after that. But I bought 2 blues to do the double YBA in case I failed, and the hover, and just forgot about it, so save quit. So then I go back to do the double YBA. I get the double YBA, and I whoosh 2 of my rod shots. I think I first shot the fire rod into the fire head because it was blue because of the ballots, and then I missed another one and then just ran out of magic. So I go back again and I do exactly the same but on the ice head this time, and then I go back again and a third and a fourth time, but I just couldn't get the double YBA. I kept falling in the pits. So then I went and did Eastern. Along the way I got myself another bottle, so I go back to do the double YBA to Trinex again. I think I failed maybe twice more actually. Eventually got to Trinex, killed Trinex, and then I literally just killed Vitreous. And I've already duped the crystal, so I'm like Agatu and Ganon behind you.
Oh, I guess you saw the medallion then. Oh my god, that was such a troll. You want to know where the Meyer big key was? I found that also just before going there.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it was in Zelda's cell.
Nice.
I actually did the 0A stuck push to Meyer from...
I had no index setting.
Oh really? I had the mushroom.
I got no mushroom, no lamp, and no magic.
I was looking for a lamp like crazy. That would have made the seed so trivial.
So would mushroom. Where was it?
Oh, I had that early. I had that actually really early.
It was in Castle Tower in the first chest.
Oh my god,
okay.
so CT had that and Samaria. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, gonna rando. I've been in a similar situation as you, Muffins, of missing out on the good stuff. I understand.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you though about the Trinex double YBA. When you're like navigating the invisible part, when you walk to the right, you can walk straight down until you hit the wall. You don't have to like go left right away.
Oh, that's so right. No, I just haven't done this double YBA in so long. Like I am way out of practice and haven't had a chance to play anywhere near as many practice seeds as I wanted. And so like I wasn't even sure I'd be able to get it. So I was glad I got it. But you're right. Like I just haven't done this in so long. I just completely forgot the nuances. I'm just used to having, well, either hovering it, having Samaria, or hook pushing. It's not very often.
Trinex, it's such a hard fight, so I mean it's understandable. Like I was more surprised you were like I guess maybe it was like pride. You're like, I'm gonna do this right or something. I was surprised you tried it so many times, but that is an
The
extremely
thing,
difficult fight, though.
yeah, the thing is I didn't have like, I was like, okay, I've got my only other option for Eastern was Stairmaster because, and this was so stupid as well, I almost save quit out of Skull after doing the front. And I was like, no, I'll go get the big key chest. And my plan was after Skull to go do Swimmos and kill Armos, but then I got the flippers out of the big key chest. But I'd done so much, I was like, I'm not resetting now. I was like, great, now I have to find a solution for Eastern as well.
Yeah. I understand.
Oh man,
Yeah.
what a pair of
Yeah,
seeds.
missing out on the sword made me go, I think, to Castle Tower and all these kind of off checks I would have skipped maybe. I just had no weapon. Like the only weapon I've had for a long time was the burner. Of course I went to do Thieves Town, which was a pendant, and
I also
all
did
the
Burner
pendants
Thieves.
blind. That's what it felt like.
Oh no, I knew. I had full knowledge super early.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You had the Thieves Town map then.
No, I had the desert map, I got the green pen info, and I walked in. I did NMG blind, except I had already bombed open the attic. Well, with burner, so not quite NMG, but I just did standard, no glitches, walking in the front doing it.
Yeah, okay.
But the hammer was also in Turtle Rock. That was pretty rude placement for you,
Oh,
Muffins, because just not having Samaria, like, the incentive to go, like, to the middle is, like, not really that high.
Yeah, and I did go to Dark Death Mountain relatively early, but then I went to GT, which was fun because I got into Hookshot Cave and realized I had no bomb, so I had to select buffer the YBA, which I got. I was happy, but yes, it was like GT or TR, and it's like go to TR and do a couple of checks, or go to GT and get loads. So I went to GT.
Yeah, I was really happy you did that select buffer YBA, because I've always been saying for years, like, this is a really good backup if you don't have bombs.
Oh, it's
like,
yeah, I fully agree with you. It's so good. Sometimes it's faster than doing it with bombs. Like, it's so I think it's something everyone should learn.
Yeah, I had to do that in one of my races as well, because I ran out of bombs, and I got it like second try, so I was happy about that.
Nice.
I also had the pleasure of doing... Yeah, sorry, the boomerang ice armors.
Oh yeah, I was.
That was great.
I was very very shocked. Because I was like, this is. I was looking at like your magic, and I was like, this isn't a really good Armos fight for Vinter.
No.
I wonder what the plan here is. And then you ran out of
There was
magic
no
and started
plan.
boomeranging, and I was like, oh well, let's see what Muffins is doing.
It actually went faster than I expected, because the I don't know, the iframes of the last armors, they're not that long, it feels like. And you can just stand right next to him and spam the boomerang. It was okay, but yeah, still a ton of hits.
I wanted to ask you though, because I totally missed. You were the first one into pod actually, but I missed that you skipped out on the, I guess the big chest and the maze. I was just curious. I don't know, but people in chat were telling me that like the dark maze is bad, and like I don't know. I just didn't think it was that big a deal, but I guess
Yeah, I can
like
do
a lot of people agreed with you that it was bad to do it with a.
It was an intentional
was it not?
skip, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Just
just
like
wanted
not
to
having like a navigation item, like you just
Right.
didn't want to do it. That was the reason.
And I was also hoping for in the Dark Q or in the Compass chest, Harmless Hellway, there were like a few checks left where if there's a sword, if there's a lamp, suddenly it becomes trivial. But yeah, it's just a time investment. I should probably practice it though, because I think even in the last siege where I did the same thing, the same skip, it kind of bit me in the butt again. Or also,
That's. I mean, I agree that like probably people should learn that, but that's unlucky that it happened to be that happened twice, that they missed a good item because of it.
yeah.
Did you dupe your Maya crystal before you killed Vidi?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, okay,
I did
yeah,
that.
me-
Yeah, I felt so stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, I realized it like as soon as I killed Vidi and saw the pendant, the medallion. I was like, my god, I should have just done Vidi first.
I also
And,
haven't
like-
done the door deletion. I haven't done that in a while, so it took me a while with the.
Yeah, I had the guide up.
Okay, you had to do it with the double YBA then, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Like with Samaria, it's fine, but
Yeah.
I literally can't remember the last time I did the double YBA. The third bottle made everything a lot
Right.
more comfortable, and I was going to go to Viti from CT with the 2 greens, because I had both CT keys, which in retrospect would have given me my Samaria
That's smart.
and indexing as well. But I'm 99% sure that I tried it in a rando seed, and it crashes on my NT. Like, I get the spin YBA, it's fine, but as soon as you enter Viti's room, it's just frozen, so that's why I wasn't comfortable trying it. So, yeah, good
Yeah,
times.
it was. I just couldn't do any spin YBAs too. Like, I was gonna go to Ice Palace, but since I had no sword, I went there with the hammer, and like it was such weird routing. Like,
I had bits to get into ice. That was nice.
Yeah, no, getting in was not a problem. I couldn't get to the boss though. Without the
Yeah,
sword
okay.
For
Yeah,
the
yeah,
longest time.
Yeah,
The
that's
hammer
true.
was the first entry to really get. I mean, maybe I could have done a stuck push, but man, that's.
I think
so
you can
awkward.
also do like an STC plus YBA at the same time, replaces a spin if I'm not mistaken. But I have a funny feeling, but I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, that may be a bit too experimental for a race, but maybe, yeah.
No, it was kind of interesting though, because that skip kind of like told the story of the race, the skipping the pod big chest, because it looked for a while like Muffins was like steadily, like slowly getting a lead on you, but like then, you know, not having like the third bottle, like not having the hammer, or like just things that would help with like the Trinex fight, or I don't know, you slowly got your time like all back, and it was still kind of close. I mean, and so.
Oh, for sure.
It was a good watch. So like, yeah.
Like, I'm happy with how close it was, considering how shambly I tried it. I wouldn't even want to imagine how much time I lost trying to get to Trinex. It must be like 5 or 10 minutes. So yeah.
Yeah, like after seeing that sword, I was also convinced. Okay, you got me. Then that's it. I lost so much time leaving that behind. Probably, yeah. That felt really bad. But yeah, these seats were both rough. Like I've had some really smooth seats where you get all the go mode basically in KEK or after 20 minutes. These seats, they just drag on.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah, you were both swordless for like, I don't know, quite a long time.
Yeah, it was, again, no melee weapons for God knows how long. It was really bad.
Good practice, though.
yeah, indeed, good practice. Well, GG's again, Vinter. Thanks very much, JD and Buddha and Holy Smoke. Yeah, Buddha lost his internet, and then I see pings in Discord, like notifications popping up, like my internet's broken, and then Holy Smoke, can someone approve me? And I'm like, okay, I'll approve you mid-race. Open the crew tab and approve him.
Oh no.
It was fine. I was running at the time.
To do that.
It's no problem. It was very not bad. So
that's kind of weird.
Administrating and racing. I mean,
race. Yeah. Oh man, I'm sorry. Yeah, but hopefully you'll get some better seats in your next race. Maybe, maybe
I'm up against
Leaf roll is just a
yeah.
Muffins rolled both our
tournament seeds are cursed. Oh my god.
Yeah, and I owe Leaf a couple of beatings after the previous tournament we were in. So we trade wins. So I think it's my turn this time. We'll see.
Alright. Nice.
Alright. Well, if I had any more questions, I didn't remember them, and I don't know, because other people are complaining, I might try to like do a video to help people with the maze, because I didn't know that it was a big deal for people. But I don't know if anyone would be interested in that. Like, there are certain spots where if you hold diagonals until you stop moving, you can figure out where you are and then change direction like after that. And that's kind of how I get out of it, because like as other people were saying that like they were having a hard time too. So, but anyways, congratulations again to Vinter and GG Muffins. So, Vinter is going to move on to face Doom Tab in the next round.
Yeah. That's
Do you have any thoughts about that matchup?
Not really. I mean, you can look at my prediction. So I did not predict my own win in that one, in that particular matchup.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we'll see. I think anybody can beat anybody in this tournament, and it depends on the seed. I
Yeah.
think if it plays to my strengths and if I hit a good route, I feel like I have a good chance, maybe. But I don't know. It's tough. That
No, I
be
would
a tough
agree
one.
with that. Yeah, yeah. Like everybody, that's everybody's been like studying their stuff, and I think everyone has a chance.
Right.
It's a really interesting bracket. Good luck to both of you in your next races. And
Thank
there
you.
are no more no logic scheduled for today. But we do have a race on Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Relican versus Drunk Future Self. And we'll have to keep an eye on the schedule to see if more races get scheduled until then. But well, thank you again to the runners, and thank you to Buddha and Holy Smoke. And yeah, that's gonna do it for us. Thank you for watching, everyone.